What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be back to work on the Subaru WRX because I want to actually get this thing done in under a week. I'm kind of putting this challenge on myself, and a lot of you guys are wondering what's going on with the other projects. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get through those as soon as this car is done, and it's going to be kind of cool. You know, it's going to be the first car I finish completely by myself, especially with the new vlog style filming. And I'm already enjoying it a lot, and I see you guys are enjoying it a lot too. So basically on the Subaru, yesterday's video, we did a lot of work inside. We got all the seat belts removed, got them shipped out, and we also replaced the roof airbags and the driver airbag, which was pretty cool. So we got about 85% of the interior done. Then once those seat belts come back in, we can just slap them back together. But in today's video, we are gonna be focusing on the front end. As you can see, this entire area right here is destroyed. I'm guessing when it hit right here, it kind of just pushed everything in. But the cool thing is, it didn't really hit the reinforcement bar right here, or it kind of just chipped it. And that means maybe the frame rails did not move over. So it should be a super easy light pull. And then we do have our new apron area right here. Check that out. It's an OEM one. I was thinking about buying it all in pieces, but whenever you piece everything out, it gets pretty expensive, and I got this for a super good deal. So guys, we're gonna have to go ahead and start stripping down the front end of this car. I need to get this front bumper off, get this old hood off, because I have a new hood over there. I got the hood, the front bumper, and the fender. And what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is basically just take off all these old parts, put on all the new parts temporarily, just so we can drive this car over to my dad's shop and get this apron piece replaced. And then we can also get everything painted out. And then my brother Mark is actually gonna paint this car. So I think we'll be able to knock it out pretty quick. So the first thing we're gonna do, go ahead and set up the camera and strip down this front end, because we need to remove the bumper and the hood. So guys, check it out. We got the entire Subaru back together, and honestly, everything lined up pretty good since there's really not much mounting points for the fender, but we got it secured on pretty good. We bolted the headlight to the fender and then the fender in the back on 3 areas. So I think everything is going to be perfectly fine to drive. We went ahead and threw a battery in the car, and let's see if this thing will start up. Hopefully it does. We actually stole the battery out of the Danger Ranger. Let's see what happens. But check that out, everything's running good. Temperature slowly picking up. And we have a full tank of gas in it, which is pretty cool. The only thing I don't really like is this little screen right here. I don't think it has a navigation or anything like that. But guys, the car runs good. We're gonna let it idle a little bit, you know, let it warm up, and then we'll drive it over to the other shop and start the framework. So we just made it to the shop. I mean, this car drives pretty good. It's a little bit crooked. But let's go ahead and pull it inside and see what these boys are up to. So guys, we just made it to the shop in the Subaru, and it drives pretty good. The steering wheel is a little bit crooked because I did replace the tie rod, and I kind of just aligned it with my eyeballs. And we are also gonna have to order a sway bar bushing because it was making a little bit of noise. I'm guessing it was dented up pretty good. But man, check it out, guys. This thing is completely packed together. Well, I mean, there's no apron on it, but that's all good. That's what we're gonna be working on in today's video. So let's go ahead and see what's on the frame machine right now, because I think Yuri's in here beating some metal. So let's go ahead and see what he's working on. I think I'm actually gonna have to help him out a little bit, because we gotta get that Subaru done. I gotta get that thing painted and out of here. And let's go ahead and see.
That way you can.
Yo, what?
Yeah, so hopefully once we
look, guys, they're filming.
To the metal as well, it'll all pull it as one and bring all this out.
Wait, this way?
Yeah, you get V-tuned over here.
So yeah, guys, this is the job we're gonna have to finish up right here. They got most of it done. If y'all seen the last vlog, Yuri was just removing this quarter panel piece, and he got everything off. And pretty much what I'm gonna do is basically just help him finish it up so we can get this thing off the frame. It doesn't really, what does it need? It just needs a little bit of pulling right here, a little bit of adjusting
right here, and that's it. Everything else can be cut off and done on the ground.
Heck yeah, sounds good. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up, and we're gonna go ahead and knock this job out so we can get this van off this frame machine so we can get that super in here. And we got my Gramps over there. He's always working.
My bad.
Yuri's hammering, but yeah, that's my Gramps. He's just carrying logs. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna set the camera up, and we're gonna knock this thing out so we can get the Subaru on here. guys, it's a couple hours later, and finally we went ahead and got the van off the frame machine. And check it out, guys, the door is on. Me and Yuri knocked this thing out of the park. It isn't fully finally welded. There's still gonna need a lot of stuff that needs to get welded, but we decided, you know what, it's gonna take another day probably to get everything welded up. Wouldn't you say about a day to weld everything up?
Yeah, once we get all the doors and everything lined up, make sure everything closes good, we'll go ahead and weld it up. But
So yeah, guys, I think that's just gonna be a perfect stopping point on this van right here, and then they can just weld everything up on the ground. If y'all want to see the full video of this van rebuild, I'll drop the link down below to my brother's channel, 23rd Garage. But now what we're gonna do is go ahead and get the Subaru on the frame machine so we can get this front apron replaced. So guys, Yuri's gonna go ahead and pull it on the frame. Easy now. Hey, a little bit to the right. Dude, he does not know. Oh, he's burning my clutch out now. I honestly think we might need a new clutch after that one. What do you say about that? A nice little stage 2?
yeah.
Bro, look at the gaps though. Look at that. So much more airflow right there. But guys, we got the Subaru on the frame machine, and now what we need to do is basically go ahead and set this thing up on some clamps. I think we're gonna do some clamps instead of blocks, because we are gonna be doing some pulling right here. This apron needs to get pulled forward around 2 inches, and I got my brothers from 23rd. They are gonna be helping me knock this thing out because it's already kind of late. The van frame job took a little bit longer than expected, but what we're gonna do right now is basically go ahead and get this thing set up, and then we can get to pulling and cutting and welding. Got the car all set up on the blocks, and we also just went ahead and took everything apart over here, and now you get a better look at the damage. You can see this apron piece is kind of just smushed in, and I also took off this shock right here so there's easy access from the back. And I think what are we gonna start doing? We could probably just go ahead and start pulling it, grab it like right here. I probably shouldn't have cut all this off, but I didn't want to pay for a tow truck or anything like that. So
Oh, you couldn't move it?
well, I couldn't drive it here, and I wanted to drive it here, so
So Ben, what I think we should do is go ahead and cut this off and then weld a flat piece of metal here. That way we can put a clamp on it and pull all this out this way.
yeah, I think that is the best option. Basically just weld something on right here and then give everything a pull, because I don't think it has to go much. When I was looking over here, you can see this piece right here is kind of crinkled right there, and I think what happened was this apron area kind of just pushed everything back. I think it might need to come back like an inch. What do you think?
Yeah,
Probably.
I guess we'll see once we start pulling on it and start measuring the diameter.
Yeah, because like it drove pretty good. The only thing that was off was the alignment was off, and that's because I replaced the tire rod down here. So I guess let's go ahead and weld something to this right here and start pulling out all this metal. So guys, the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and weld a piece of metal on here, grab a clamp, and start pulling it out. And I think everything's gonna come out pretty easy. It is a Subaru, so let's get straight to work. So guys, check it out. We went ahead and did some pulls right here, and we got most of the apron pulled out. We even did some tapping, and that all straightened out over there. We did weld this piece to it, but it kind of just broke right off, which I think that was because that was the outer piece, which is a lot weaker metal than the bottom high strength steel. So we got all that pulled out, and you can actually see that this gap right here closed up. There used to be a gap where I could stick my finger in between here, and it actually closed up. So we're doing pretty good right now. I think the best option right now is to go ahead and remove all the damaged parts, and then we can actually figure out how we're gonna do our new piece or our used piece that I actually picked up, which I probably should have bought new pieces, but it's all good. We'll use our salvaged piece. So what do you say, Yuri? Let's go ahead and knock this out.
Let's do it.
check that out. We got all the damaged parts off, and now we need to just figure out how we're gonna do this top section over here. Now if we go over here to Yuri, he's actually splitting the used part that I actually picked up. Heck yeah. Okay, so we are gonna go inside there just like that. I think that is the best option to do because that piece on the car is just a little bit damaged, so we might as well just replace this piece too, no?
You're gonna replace this piece?
I think we should.
Because then you can straighten everything out real good.
Yeah, because we're not replacing the entire shock tower, and this is a double wall right here. I guess it's an extra support.
So drill those out too?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and drill that out. I think it will be the best option to go ahead and replace that inner structure. I'll show you guys how it's damaged over here. I mean, it has just a little bit of damage right here, but might as well just replace it since we're already in here. So let's continue on getting all this stuff off. So guys, it is the next morning here at the shop. It kind of took us a little bit longer to get that van done, and then we got the Subaru on the frame a little bit later in the day. I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock, but we did manage to get a lot of progress done on the car. As you can see, the old apron is off, everything is pulled out and ready to go. All we need to do on this car is prep all the surfaces, spray everything in with some weld-through primer. Getting ready to put this piece on. I have to clean everything up also on the new apron piece and put some weld-through primer. So let's go ahead and get straight to work and get this apron on here so we can get this car off the frame machine, because I got to get this thing done. We only have 2 days left in this week to get this car done, and I do not want to disappoint you guys. So check it out, we got the apron on the car and everything is lining up good. I even went ahead and threw on this little bracket right here, which we bought from the dealership. And I also checked the square. Everything is looking good. So I think it's ready to weld. The only thing I want to do is go ahead and test fit the fender, pop the headlight on, make sure everything lines up before we do our final weld. But man, it is coming along nice. Shock tower came out perfectly, and look at that, there's no crease in this area right here at all. So I think we're in good standing there. So let's go ahead and pop all the exterior panels on the car, make sure all the gaps are good, make sure everything lines up, and then we can fully weld everything up. Check it out, we got the entire front end back together, and I'm so happy we did go with all OEM parts straight from the Subaru dealership. Although I did get this headlight used, but it is an OEM Subaru headlight, and everything lines up perfect. Even this gap right here is literally perfectly flush, and then the gaps over here. I will need to put the bumper bracket on right here. I didn't put anything on there, and that's why it needs to pick it up like that, and it will be perfectly to the hood. So now what we're gonna do is take all this stuff back off the car and get everything welded up, because we did spray all the weld-through primer on everything. I put some self-tappers in there, and it's pretty much in its perfect spot. So let's go ahead and disassemble everything back down, and then me and Yuri will get this thing welded up. just wrapped up with all the welding, and man, does everything look freaking awesome. Now all we need to do is grab our belt sander and start sanding down all these welds, because I want to go ahead and get all this stuff painted in, because we can't really drive this car off the frame rack with all this stuff kind of just hanging right here. We have the fuse box. The good thing we do have a new fuse box cover for that. So we're gonna go ahead and grind down all these welds right here. There's a lot of them that we need to grind down, but everything turned out freaking awesome. Check this out. We don't really have much to grind, just a little bit down here. There's gonna be a nice seam sealer going all through up there. So we're gonna grind down that weld, and maybe have to do a little bit of body filler work. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to see after we sand all the welds down. So let's go ahead and sand everything down with the belt sander and hopefully throw some primer down. So guys, check it out. It's the next day here at the shop. We got everything painted in, and man, let me tell you, it looks amazing. It looks factory. We went ahead and just blended in all the paint over here just so it looked really OEM like. So if somebody ever in the future pulls this fender off, you know, they see the repair and they're like, good job on that. And then up here, of course, we got everything painted in. The paint matched up pretty good. All that's a little bit dirty, so we'll have to just wash everything, and it should blend in pretty good. We're not too worried about that. But now that we have everything nice and painted, we can go ahead and start putting everything back together. As you can see, we do have a used fuse box, which the cool thing about this thing is you can just take everything apart and then we can install it in there, because my original one was just destroyed, which I'm just surprised that no wires got ripped in the whole ordeal. The car doesn't even have a check engine light. So now that we have everything painted, we can go ahead and start assembling it, and then we'll jump onto the body work probably in the next episode, because we've already got a lot of work done in today's video. So let's get to work and get this thing off the front. Is finally off the frame, and man, does it look good. All the gaps turned out perfect. I went ahead and did another little test drive. I adjusted the tie rod and it drives absolutely perfect. We will have to take it to the alignment shop, but I think we'll do that after we get the car painted. But as you can see, I did do another little test fit. I just put all the panels on just before I drove it off the frame, and man, all the gaps are literally perfect. It doesn't get better than that. So that's gonna be a wrap for today's video. You know, we got a lot of work done on the car. Pretty much did all the framework, got everything painted in, lined up. In the next episode, we'll go ahead and paint it, put the car together, and that's it. The car will be 100% done. hopefully the seat belts will come in. I'm hoping they'll come in tomorrow so that we can put the whole car back together, because as you can see, it is kind of just empty. You know, the stuff is just hanging off of it. But guys, we got a lot of progress done. Hopefully we can get this thing done in a week. It's taking a little bit longer than I expected, but that's okay. So if y'all enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also follow us on Instagram at VTune. Thanks for watching.